FromSoftware released another interesting update that covers your usual balancing, bug fixes, buffs, nerfs, skill adjustments, and more. However, what I want to focus on is the adjustments that they made to overhaul the DLC's final boss. As a player who beat the final boss multiple times, I can't help but to see and feel the changes made. In my opinion, this is a very crucial gesture and should be a shining example for other developers in the industry, and in this video, we're going to the details why along with my thoughts about the overhaul. Before I continue, take this as a spoiler warning as I will be mentioning and showing a lot of FromSoftware bosses to set examples. Consort Radahn, being the final boss of Shadow of the Erdtree, received a lot of changes in terms of moveset adjustments, attack damage, and more. Of course, for us to determine the changes, I will be breaking down all of the changes that I have noticed so you'll see what I am going to talk about. Right off the bat, one will notice that his surprise gravity attack is no longer there. However, he still does this move after a few seconds or so. This will give players at least a moment to prepare for what's coming compared to the old moveset where he will jump on you right away. I don't mind this, to be honest, as it was fairly easy to dodge. I will be showing the old clips that I have so far so you can see the difference. But the things that made my day are the cross slash and the blood flame attack that receives a major overhaul in terms of animation. The cross slash feels way too organic now and looks realistic in my opinion. I dreaded this attack in the past, not because of its insane raw firepower, but because of its awful animation, and it is too damn distracting. The old animation looks abrupt and lacks finesse, which is very rare to see when it comes to FromSoftware bosses, so I immediately noticed that there was something wrong in the past, but more into this later. But now look at those juicy organic animations. Well, the good news is a player can finally dodge it fairly, this time without relying on a specific direction or position, as you can rely on your timings alone. The Blood Flame Blade attack is another awfully presented attack, having this quick animation that did not match Radahn's physique in the past. It somehow felt that the attack was there for the sake of variety, and I totally hated this attack because of its poor animation. Because if you are following the channel, you know how I am so specifically keen about attack animations or character animations in general. In the latest patch, we can see that Radahn is taking his time before doing the thrust attack like a real warrior, and when the thrust is done, the player will have a window to dodge or to position before Radahn does the graceful swipe to release the Blood Flame Blade. And it is so satisfying to see on my end because they have finally fixed it. The light attack AoE is another thing in my opinion, as it can make my frames dip so hard even when equipped with an RTX 4090. FromSoftware dimmed these lights a little bit and removed some of the light pillars so players can see their character and act accordingly. In the past, this attack was not so bad, at least in my opinion, in terms of like dodging it or something. You can see in the clip right here that I got hit, but it is relatively easy to dodge if you can act on it fast and then run from a specific direction. But what I disliked the most in the past was the frame dips that it cost me. But now that is finally solved. When it comes to his Mirage overhead attack, after the series of light clones coming down at you, there's this quick combo follow-up that usually catches the player and suffers multiple heavy damage if you don't know how to dodge it. But now there's this window time again for the player to act accordingly, to have a breather and dodge the next move. Now, this is not a proper review or anything, but I have known FromSoftware for their highly intricate boss designs, mainly not for overall graphics, but for their masterful bosses that I had a lot of fun beating in handicapped no damage run fights. But I was blown away that I have seen a lot of faults when it comes to Radahn's design, mainly for Romina as well. FromSoftware iconic bosses are just too good, not just in Elden Ring, but even when talking about their other titles. For example, the almost perfect boss designs of Sekiro, which is by far the best still in my opinion up to this day. Each fight provides this organic feeling that you are fighting a real human being or an entity as I described it. Isshin is the best among them, beating us with his graceful and highly curated spear slashes and katana swings, while I can still remember my relentless sword parries with Owl, the erratic movement of Ludwig during his first phase, and eventually turning into a graceful warrior in the second phase. The violent fight with cost defines its identity with every moveset that it does, to the fan favorite which is Maria with her graceful katana thrust and swipes. All this being said, I simply did not see all of this greatness with Radahn. Instead, see Radahn as an unfinished product, and it turns out that I was correct the whole time. Compared to Mesmer and Midra, these two are the best bosses in the DLC in my opinion because of their detailed and organic animations. I'm not saying Radahn is a bad boss, in fact, he is a good one still, but his previous state in animation did not feel that great in the past. All of the attack mentioned feel too abrupt and lacked finesse, which distract me most of the time. At first, I thought I was just crazy for noticing these little things, but it turns out that FromSoftware shows that they are willing to adjust this battle and ultimately provide the experience that I am longing for. They can just let it sit and not care because they have already made millions of dollars with Chart of the Erdtree, but instead they did not. They are willing to adjust things up because they know that the material is not that good. Or perhaps the bosses are not just that good. And by doing this, I see it as an art, and they still have my highest respect because of this. And I see these changes as a positive thing, even though I know that the difficulty has been lightening up a little bit. FromSoftware should be an example from what owning a material should really mean, other than settling for a mediocre product that we are used to seeing nowadays, and I don't need to cite a lot of examples as it is likely that you see it too. I'm just sharing what I think of this matter so far, and I will be releasing my 100% completion review for this game soon, and more builds coming for Elden Ring. Thank you for lending your ears and giving me the time to watch this video, and I appreciate you, and I will catch you on the next one.